U.S. President Donald Trump calls to leaders in West Asia has sparked fears the American embassy in Israel's Tel Aviv could be moved to Jerusalem. The likelihood of this move has sparked a global condemnation of the Donald Trump administration. Leaders of Saudi Arabia, Jordan and Palestine have warned the president against this move. The U.S. president is expected to make an announcement later today.
I'm not going to get ahead of the president's remarks that he'll make tomorrow. He did speak with a number of leaders this morning, and he's going to continue to have conversations with relevant stakeholders, but ultimately he'll make what he feels is the best decision for the United States.
Leaders around the world also expressed their concern. Pope Francis has also expressed his concern over President Trump's expected decision. The Pope has urged for status quo and called for wisdom and prudence to avoid further conflict. And just a short while back, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, while speaking at a business conclave, took a dig at Iran, saying that it exports terror and Israel is strengthening its ties with nations across the globe for peace. Listen into what he said.
So we still have challenges. How to convert this change, this revolutionary change that is enveloping the world and enveloping our region, how do we translate it into a formal peace between us and all our neighbors, Palestinians and others? And also, how do we translate this into the votes that we want in international forums? We still have time for that. I want to commend Mexico, the president of Mexico, who, my friend, who told me a few weeks ago that they're going to change, Mexico is going to change its vote on 10 anti-Israel resolutions in the upcoming General Assembly. You can applaud that. Thank you. And the same we've been seeing from other countries, but it will take a decade, possibly a decade, as long as a decade, to see that change happen in the international forums. These are two important challenges that we have as we expand our network of alliances. But its progress is undeniable, except for Iran. Iran stands out not merely as threatening us, Iran is threatening the entire world. And if Iran continues unabated, they will have a nuclear arsenal of 100 bombs and more. Within a decade, they'll have the capacity to enrich uranium on a vast scale and break out not to one bomb, but to 100 bombs. This has to be stopped. Not merely because Iran calls for the annihilation of Israel, but because Iran wants to conquer the entire Middle East and go beyond that. It's developing ICBMs to reach any point on Earth. It is an aggressive regime. It exports terrorism.
And the question is, why is the issue of shifting the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem so contentious? Firstly, if the United States moved the embassy to Jerusalem, it would effectively mean that the U.S. recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. That would overturn 70 years of international consensus, and experts believe would effectively signal the end of moves to achieve peace between Israelis and Palestinians. Jerusalem, as we know, is a city with Jewish, Christian and Muslim holy places. Israel describes it as its united and eternal capital, but 70 years ago, when the UN voted to partition Palestine into Jewish and Arab states, Israel was defined as a separate entity under international supervision. But the war that followed Israel's declaration of independence 1 year later left Jerusalem divided. When the fighting ended in 1949, Israel was in control of the western half and Jordan was in control of the eastern half, which included the famous Old City. During a war in 1967, Israel occupied East Jerusalem. Since then, all of the city has been under Israel's authority. Palestinians and many in the international community continue to see East Jerusalem as the capital of a future Palestinian state. In July 1980, Israel passed a law declaring Jerusalem the united capital of Israel. The United Nations Security Council responded with a resolution condemning Israel's annexation of East Jerusalem and declared it as a violation of international law. In fact, before 1980, a number of countries, including the Netherlands and Costa Rica, had their embassies in Jerusalem. After 1980, all countries moved their embassies out of Jerusalem to Tel Aviv. The US has never had its embassy in Jerusalem, but in 1989, Israel began leasing to the US a plot of land in Jerusalem for a new embassy. The 99-year-old lease cost $1 per year. The plot is an empty field to date. In 1995, the US Congress passed a law requiring America to move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, as they thought the US should respect Israel's choice of Jerusalem as its capital. But every president since then, Clinton, Bush and Obama, have declined to move the embassy, citing national security interests.